What happened to Darrell Brooks Jr.'s multiple witnesses for the Waukesha Christmas Parade trial? How's it going, everyone? This is Christian Duke. You're watching Sight Sounds Flavors on YouTube, sightsoundsflavors.com. If at any point during this video you like it, please smash that like button, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and leave a comment down below. Wasn't he supposed to have something like 20 witnesses or something like that? Don't you guys remember that he was like hanging his hat on that? He's like, oh, I'm going to bring them. Oh, they're coming. We need to make arrangements. We need to know what days are coming. I got people coming in from all over the place. You know what I mean? He was talking about Wisconsin, Michigan, all the way out west. Said nothing about Zoom. And did you notice how he talked about Dawn? He's like, oh, she's coming. Oh, you better believe she's coming. As if Dawn was going to come with like a crack squad of commandos or something. Like they were going to like crash into the prison and get Darrell out, and the helicopter's going to come and they were like going to go up. And I didn't understand that. Like when he said, oh yeah, you better believe she's coming. Like what? Really? But I think at that point, you know, he realized, you know, the jury found him guilty on all counts, on all charges. And he knew that sentencing was imminent. He knew that he had played pretty much his last card, but he was still going to try to, I think at this point, he was really trying to get every last bit of media attention he could. Because even, I've always wondered about this, if he could see himself on TV, like inside, because they've got the TVs in there. I wonder if he would like see himself on the 5 o'clock news. Obviously, I don't think he could see himself on YouTube, but then again, he did get wind of the Reddit thing, so maybe he was able to see YouTube. I don't know, but imagine the celebrity that he must have had in there. I know that a lot of people are talking about the revenge of victims, people that knew the victims, people that sided with the victims in prison. That was a real concern, but I would think that would have been more so from the staff than the actual inmates. But who knows? I don't know. There is a code amongst inmates. And so, but at the same time, he was probably like a celebrity in there because he was on TV every day. He was like cursing up and down at the judges, cursing up and down at the prosecution. He had multiple bailiffs to control him, or at least it appeared that way. And he was dragged in and out. He was in other courtrooms. He could be heard yelling down the hall. And I think at that point, the prisoners, I don't know, but I would imagine that they were able to compartmentalize. On the one hand, they probably hated him for what he did. But on the other, they weren't seeing what he did so much as how he was acting with, the powers that be, which prisoners don't like. Cops, judges, prosecutors, these are people prisoners generally don't like because they don't generally get favorable treatment from them. They're prisoners. A lot of them are guilty. And if you're guilty, you're being prosecuted, you're being judged, and you're being taken away, you're not going to be too friendly to those people. And so Darrell was kind of like giving it back to him. So Darrell might have been a celebrity prisoner to a lot of them for a long time. And I believe that, him saying, look, I get all these people coming in was his way of telling the court, look, I'm going to you may have found me guilty and I may be going away forever, but I'm going to make sure that I control the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. You know what I mean? And I'm going to get every last bit of joy I can get out of those days, and he did cry for Don's presentation, and he might have cried for his former roommate, best friends. He was having a really hard time staying awake for Dr. Mary Edwards' self-promotion appearance. But, could you imagine if there had been like another 15 or 20 people? So first of all, when they never showed up, that's a huge letdown. And then when they wouldn't even do Zoom, that was another huge letdown. But at least Zoom would have been something, if the 20 people would have gotten on Zoom. But you have to understand, too, that a lot of people that knew him probably didn't want to know him after what he did at the Waukesha Christmas Parade. And even some of the scumbags that he made his rap album with or whatever that appeared on that video, at least one of them was probably a studio gangster, meaning that they weren't really a gangster. And even if they were a gangster, gangsters do some pretty messed up stuff, but they don't, run down men, women, and children in a car at a Christmas parade. I mean, that's so warped and messed up that the gang members themselves might take Darrell outside and take care of business, But I mean, it's just one of those things where I always try to understand the psychology behind why he was saying that all these people were coming. And the more that I think about it, it's simply because I feel that I feel that throughout the whole trial, Darrell Brooks wanted to be in charge. on some level he wanted to be in charge. And we saw this play out with the castle, like when he did the white boxes and he hid behind it. That was kind of him trying to be in control, bringing the Bible with him, even though it was not his Bible. He tried to say that it was, but it really wasn't, you know. And it really didn't have a place there, but, you know, he wanted to have it there. Some people have said that Judge Darrell went to a Christian-based university. I don't know if that played into it or not. At the end of the day, it's a Bible. It's there for spiritual sustenance. It's not bothering anybody. He didn't cite it. You know, he didn't use it as a weapon. So if he wanted to have a Bible there, I mean, if I was a judge, I wouldn't have cared. I wouldn't have had a problem with it. It was upside down half the time anyways. He wasn't reading it, but I just see, like, you know, with the witness list and how he questioned Erica, you know, when the prosecution was laughing about Exhibit E with, you know, with the he, key, and he got real upset about that. When, you know, Sue Opper said defendant a little bit too loud, defendant. He's like, nobody heard that. It seems like you all hear me even when I'm mumbling. You guys hear me just fine, but you didn't hear that. I think that there was a combination of ultra sensitivity, you know, almost like eggshell thin skin, and then the control factor. And I don't know if you guys see it, if you agree, if you disagree. I always invite you guys to leave a comment down below. But it just seems like, you know, him having all these witnesses was his way of controlling, you know, the order of the day for a week or so. And it just turns out that, you know, he only had 2 or 3 people come out, 3 people come out, and he could have had 4 because Dr. Mary had someone in the room. You could see the shadow. I mean, come on, guys, be honest. You saw the shadow, right? And you all, I'm pretty sure I heard something also because the judge even said, is there someone else in the room? And Dr. Mary said no. And then I think she said it might have been her husband or something, but he wasn't going to be participating. He was going to another room or something like that. I got to rewatch it again, but I'm going to bet the hair that's not on my head that there was somebody else in that room. Why they didn't make an appearance, I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's just like this trial was so full of so many questions and so many like oddities and just, you know, and I'm still like, and I just woke up, so I hope you guys don't mind. I didn't wash my face, but I just wanted to do this video because I thought about it. I was like, didn't Darrell Brooks say he had like 20 witnesses? Like, and he actually only had 3. And I wonder if there was a witness list anywhere. I wonder if, and again, I don't care who they are, but I'm just curious if that was all just a bunch of talk or if he actually had 20 people that he actually listed and they just didn't want to do it. Obviously, a lot of them didn't want to do it because they don't want to be associated with him because, you know, when you're associated with someone like this, people are going to, you know, they're going to think that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Plus, a lot of people probably were disgusted, I would hope, by what he did and why, you know, he wanted them to be there. They didn't want to be there. You know what I mean? You have to understand that what he did is so heinous. Like I said, even street gangbangers that are really, you know, they would do just about anything. I mean, I don't associate much decency with a gangbanger, but, you know, using a car against men, women, and children on a Christmas parade, that's probably like one of the things that they won't do. And one of the things that they would probably find morally reprehensible. And one of the things that they might actually take action all on their own to mete out justice. So I think that him wanting all those witnesses was just an attempt at being in control. Just an attempt, more than even being in control, an attempt at just getting every last bit of media attention possible, but also to an extent being in control. And also an extent his narcissism, because the people, if, you know, they would probably talk about the victims and they would probably talk about the crime, but they would talk about him a lot. And he liked being talked about as much as possible.